Good morning. This is David from Claybank Homestead. Sitting in front of the garden. Had 2 days of rain. Everything is just soaked down so good. Won't have to worry about watering for a while, or a few days. We're in Florida, so everything is lovely. Look behind me, we have fruit trees. Got peas planted, okra's coming up, tomatoes, squash. Everything's looking really good. Matter of fact, we have squash of about that big. So 3 or 4 days we'll be cutting us some squash. And everything that comes out of this garden tastes so much better than what you can get at the grocery store. And it's because of the nutrients in the garden. Now, if you remember where I'm at, I'm sitting right in the middle of 2 hugel beds. But we did something a little different this year. We peeled off the top and we brought the tops down and we put them over in the middle. And we put logs and stuff in the middle of the 2 hugel beds, and then we pulled the dirt over on top of them, which created a grow platform. I think that's going to work a lot better for us, because what I found that the high hugel beds that we had were staying too dry about halfway down. You had to constantly water, and that's something that you're not supposed to have to do with hugel beds as much. It's supposed to cut down on watering. But the weather that we have is we have very hot summers, and we go through periods of drought that could last a month, month and a half. Now on down in the hugel bed, fine. Everything worked good. Around the edges of it, worked great. But up on the tops, not so much. So like I said, we just lowered them down, pulled all that dirt to the inside of the rows. Now we'll continue to do that over here, because we've got a hugel bed where the potatoes are. In between this one and that one, we have a lot of logs and stuff scattered out through there. So when the time comes, that stuff just keeps breaking down. We'll just pile dirt on it and create the platform will just get bigger and bigger, and we'll be able to produce more and more food. So everything, I'm really pleased with the way things are working out in the garden. We took a place that was just really not suitable for anything, and created a situation where we could actually grow food on it. And that's really good. And you can see on the side of me, back behind me, the slope of this place is just like this. And it's hard clay. So what happens is when you dig you a ditch in that hard clay, it's just like a big flower pot. So you dig that material out, load it up with trees, dead trees preferably. That just speeds up the process if you got dead trees. But you load them up, dirt, dead trees, and then what you come up with is just like a big flower pot full of good dirt. Now the clay actually holds the water fairly well. The water just doesn't run out. It soaks up in them logs and stuff, and you can dig down into the beds itself. After we've had several weeks of drought, and you can dig down and it's moist down in there. So that's what we're trying to recreate. Uh, is what God does in in nature. If you look all out in there, same situation as here. It's all clay bank going down into that ravine back over here. But because all that is undisturbed, you have your your lower level, which is grass and vines and stuff like that, and then you have your upper level, which is shrubs, and then the next level up is your trees and your canopy. And that's the way God created that to produce. And it produces. You don't have to do anything to it. It will produce on its own. And so that's basically what we're trying to do here. If you notice, we have the plum trees. There's two plum trees. There's one here, one back there, and then there's three peach trees down through here. So in another, they're really growing this year, but I say in another 2 to 3 years, they will actually be that tall. Satsuma on the other end. We got figs, we got navel oranges, we got olive trees, we got nectarines, we got guava trees, we got banana trees. We just keep adding stuff to this area. And we got other areas that we want to start working on. Back over here, we've got a big horseshoe type area. That was Charlotte's garden, and she wants to make that like herbs and stuff. And then all the way back on the other side of the property, we have a big ditch over there, which will do the same thing what we're doing here. You just dig a ditch and load it up with trees, and then 3 or 4 years, you got the best, it's just prime dirt to grow stuff in. So it's a beautiful day. Clouds are leaving, sun's coming out. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I'll take all these we can get. I don't know what it was but I picked up a bug a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, matter of fact. I'm in the 3rd day. And I don't know if it's what they're calling the coronavirus. To me, I've had similar flus. You know how they affect you. A flu is a virus, and I've had similar. It's a little bit different. But past couple of days I haven't been feeling too good. But today I felt much better. Much better. You can hear it in my sinuses, and don't want to start coughing because got a little bit of a cough. But I think that they have built the coronavirus up to the point where, listen, it's all about money, guys. It's all about money and control. They want to control the population. Simple as that. And they produce situations where that money flows. And I'm afraid that's what it is. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I trust God. And here, I've had trusting pretty good this month because, this month I wound up in the hospital. I was in there 3 days. Now I got this. I've been battling it for 3 days. But still, I trust God. Really doesn't matter. He is my keeper, my healer, my provider. In Him I do trust. If you can trust Him for the little things, you should be able to trust him for the big things. Read the story of Hezekiah. It's in Isaiah 38. I'm thinking I want to start around 14. It said, I chirped like the sparrow or the crane. I mourned like the dove. That's when Hezekiah was sick. So he turned to the wall and he started praying. And he started reminding God what kind of person he was. He said, I'm faithful. He said, and I've worshiped you, and I walked upright before you. Paraphrasing, that's my word. And then God sent Isaiah back and told Hezekiah, he said, hey, I heard your prayers. I seen your tears. So I'm going to add 15 years to your life. That was in the Old Testament. Now we have the New Testament, where Jesus took all that on himself. We can remind God of what Jesus did. Remind him what he did on the cross. Remind him what he did leading up to the cross. He said, by his stripes we are healed. So we can apply that to our life. Not because, listen, if it depended on what we did, a whole lot of us would be left in the dark. I guarantee you. But because of what we can proclaim that Jesus did, that's where the truth lies. It's not about what we do wrong. It's about what Jesus did right. Now, I'm not saying it's okay to just go out and sin. I'm not saying that. Matter of fact, if you got sin in your life, you should try everything that you got in you to get it out. You should try to walk an upright life before the Lord. You should do the best you can. You're not going to be successful. I don't care how hard you try, you're not going to be successful. God is successful. The sacrifice was successful. The stripes that he took, the torment, everything that Jesus went through up to the time of the crucifixion was absolutely successful for us. It was done for us. So we acknowledge that, and then we partake of it. I love to take communion. Jesus said, as often as you do this, do it in remembrance of me. I used to be scared about taking communion because it says if anybody's unworthy, don't do it. Well, the only reason we're going to be worthy is if we're in Jesus. And if we know that, that's the only way that we're ever going to be worthy. So I love taking communion now. Matter of fact, I need to take communion pretty soon. It's kind of hard right now. I mean, you just about got to take communion. Me and Charlotte could take it. We could take it between ourselves. Said as often as you do it in remembrance of me. So that'll be my Sunday morning devotional. That little bit right there. It's amazing. It's amazing what's in that book. It's amazing. It's more amazing what's in your heart. God said he wrote his words upon their heart. You love God? Keep his commandments. You love your neighbor? Treat him like you want to be treated. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's just right. Feels right. Hear that pretty bird? That's what I call him. It's actually a wren. But when he sings, it's pretty, 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 pretty. Another beautiful day, though. I love y'all. Want y'all to know that. I hear some of you guys that are going through things, physically, emotionally, whatever. Trials of life. I hear about it. Know you got somebody lifting your name up. Know that you got somebody lifting your name up to God. If I didn't care, I wouldn't do it. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't do it. Let's build a community that we can share with one another and pray for one another. Let's do that. We built this huge community of gardening, preparing. Let's build a community of love and appreciation for each other. Let's do that. Let's pray for one another. Let's lift each other's names up before God. God puts it on your heart to lift old David's name up. Y'all do that. Y'all do that, because I'm going to tell you, we're being attacked by the enemy like never before. And there's only one reason. God's on the way. So we need to pray for one another. Lift one another up. We need to bind the enemy. I love the Lord's Prayer. It said, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose here on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Pray that prayer. Pray that prayer. Jesus said, pray like this. Well, I guess that's all I got. You guys be good. We'll see you on the next video.